hard to see this is going to be anything other than a race between Australia and New Zealand. 9 o'clock at night in New Zealand, 7 o'clock in Australia. The Brits on this near side will look to do something. The Germans on lane 1, Jasper Angel, the 23-year-old, on the left of your picture from Budwein Munster in the stroke seat. In lane 2, it's the first British boat, the incomparable Dowie de Graaf, the stroke of that boat. Already has a World Cup silver medal from 21. Olympic champion Alex Hill, the South Australian, in the stroke seat. He's closest to us, the only survivor from the Australian four that took gold in Tokyo famously. To me, this was the crew of the regatta. Certainly saw them in the heats, and you have got Matt McDonald, stroke of the Olympic 8, and Tom Murray from that crew, with Logan Ulrich and Ollie McLean back in the boat. The Swiss, Joel Schurich, up in the bows. His brother famously won a lightweight fours gold medal in Rio. Tim Rott from Yale, another one of those Yale rowers, coached by Steve Gladstone, Pat Brunner and Kai Schatzler. And then another British development boat. We've got James Vogel further on the left of your picture. Miles Beeson, what a great athlete he is, under-23 gold medals. Tom Ballinger and Drac Pryor, another under-23 gold medalist. All those guys from Leander Club. And you can just see at the moment it is James Vogel, a 27-year-old, with his hand up. They're not ready, and I guess they're trying to get their boat seated into that little plastic shoe. You can see there, if there is a crosswind, it keeps the boat sort of straight, and the rowers don't have to sort of adjust the angle of their boats. So he seems happy now. So I think if anyone gets close to New Zealand, that's going to be a big result. But, you know, that Kiwi crew took this event to a new level with the Americans in Lucerne. They beat the British world champions, double world champions. They moved this event on. The Americans won, but the Kiwis weren't far behind. And if the women's four was anything to go by, this New Zealand men's four have moved on. There we see Matt McDonald, the North Shore oarsman. Beautiful round the back turn, really centred in the boat. Nice out in front, and they're in the lead already.
I just heard a lovely little tinkle of the cowbells, which is very appropriate given that Switzerland are running, was in silver medal position a few strokes in, but slipping back into bronze now behind New Zealand and Australia. And I wonder if we're going to see a blueprint of what we just saw in the women's fours, Crossy, with New Zealand and Australia going at it for the gold and silver medals. But ultimately, you know, New Zealand are the form crew in this event.
He's rowing well, Alex Hill. I mean, I have seen times where Alex takes them off and they're kind of, the rate's sky high, but he's really getting connected to the boat. Great job done by Lyle McCarthy. Fergus Hamilton behind him, the former Yale oarsman. Jack Robertson, another American oarsman, with Cal, and of course he was with Oxford and won the boat race in 22, and then Tim Masters from UTS Harbourfield in Sydney, up in the bows.
Stunning shot that was. You can see we're right in the heart of Poznan here. What a great lake Lake Malta is, and been hosting international competition for the last 20 years here in Poznan. But the Aussies leading out the Kiwis. And like you say, when Alex Hill gets it right, the Olympic champion, he sometimes has a tendency, like you say, to be up and down the slide and not letting it run. But when they click and they get it right, he's the best person to have in that driving seat.
What I like about what they're doing is, particularly with Alex Hill, he comes off the back turn and he's beautiful the way he approaches the front. So he's got his weight off his feet. He's just letting the boat come to him, and then he times that pickup really well. He wasn't doing that back in 2019 where they were at the back end of the final, but he is doing it here, and that's why the Australians are going toe-to-toe with the New Zealanders. I think we're going to see a big third quarter from the Kiwis, but the Aussies will know all about that, and this is turning out to be a great race. In third place, it's the Swiss. Britain won in fourth place, and they are level with the Swiss. That's going to be a great contest for the bronze medal, Camilla.
Yeah, it really is going to be a great contest. The Swiss had been gearing up to try and obtain a place at the Olympics through the final Olympic qualification regatta on home water in Lucerne, which they achieved. And they've slid into bronze medal position. They're still up at 40 strokes a minute. They're keeping it high, but that's only because Great Britain won, are right over their shoulder there in lane 2, stroked by Douwe de Graaf, who you mentioned on the start line, the two-time junior and under-23 world champion from Harvard. We're now right back up at the front of the field, and look at this. I think we could really have a race on our hands here for this gold.
Yeah. First blood, the first part of this race to the Australians, sub 3 minutes. That is going some in these conditions. It's off world best time pace, which was 2:47, but I'll tell you, that is a quick time. This is going to be one of the quickest races, and we can see that contest for the bronze medal are the British, with de Graaf, Graham, Bannister and Rowe just moving into a bronze medal position ahead of the Swiss. Still loose, still fluid out front, the Australians.
And that was a great call we just saw there. Jack Robertson in the 2 seat. Alex Hill also making some comments, it seems, or just blowing out some air there as he finishes the stroke. But lots of chat going on in that Australian crew, isn't there?
Yeah, you know, you've got that motivation just to keep the guys ready. I think they're really pumped, but they've seen New Zealand moving. We said there was going to be a great third quarter from the Kiwis. They have laid it down now. The Swiss and the British, who is in that third place? There is only like half a metre, if that, between them. It's just Switzerland at the moment. But here come the Kiwis, or there they go, Mac McDonald. Look at that time and poise around the back he's got. You wouldn't think he was racing flat out. The way his hands move away from the back turn are so fluid, so easy. The man who took the Kiwi gold to a stroke. There's Douwe de Graaf. Look how long the former Harvard and St Paul's School oarsman is out the front. He's really getting around, rotating. The Swiss, they look a bit under pressure, don't they? Not so fluid, not as relaxed as they come to the front end. 500 to go. Yeah,
Tim Roth's just had to have a word with them there in the Swiss crew to go, look, we're level with the Brits. We need to do something here. 500 metres to go. Now, this British four, part of that Project LA group, and that's exactly where we saw the British four that's been so dominant this Olympiad come from in Sabaudia 2021. So this crew, a crew of the future, possible potential future Olympic champions, sat right out here on the water.
Yeah, and this Swiss crew are going to the Olympics. The Brits are not. That's a development boat, and they are moving back on the Australians. Can they send blood? Can they send a silver medal? Mac McDonald, smooth, impassive. They are moving out. I look to my left. They are out there, Camilla.
Oh, Mac McDonald looks wonderful, and they've broken that clear water. Now it's all coming to fruition for the Kiwis. We thought this might be the case. Through that middle part, 250 to go. They look stunning out here, so long and loose. The Australians just can't handle it. But the Aussies, they're going to have to really watch out for GB on their right-hand side, who are sprinting for their lives here. The Swiss falling apart, the steering going everywhere.
New Zealand out in front, clear water. The Australians holding off the British shots. Switzerland charging to get back on the British. It is close for the line. Australia in silver medal position, but this fantastic Kiwi crew, McLean, Ulrich, Murray, McDonald, they've moved the event on. They're coming to take a gold medal, sending a sign to the Americans and the British world champions. Australia takes silver. The British development crew beat the Swiss Olympic crew to take a fantastic bronze medal for Rowe, Bannister, Graham and de Graaf. The Swiss have to be content with fourth. I think it was the second British crew in fifth place. And the Germans, Kaman, Grossman, Vignayers and Ankel take sixth place. Pumped up there in the 2 seat for Logan Ulrich, the 23-year-old, the youngster in that boat from Auckland. Alex Hill, he rode so beautifully in the first part of that race, and then the New Zealanders just put the foot down. I mean, who's going to challenge that? Because normally you expect the British world champions to do that. Douwe de Graaf is exhausted, but I guess elated.
I mean, for that development crew to be in touch with crews that we're expecting to be in the A final, challenging for medals at Paris, is a huge win for Rowe, Bannister, Graham and de Graaf. But the Kiwis, you know, took them a little bit of time, but they trusted their pace, they trusted what they could do in the second half. But I think that's the best I've seen the Aussie 4-row all Olympiad.
Yeah, got that characteristic like shoulder thing from Alex McDonald when he puts the rate up. He just lets those shoulders get in a little bit sort of heavy. You see Matt McDonald there, by contrast, really loose, really fluid shoulders. I know we talked a lot about Matt, but obviously I know Tom Murray, the 30-year-old behind from Blenheim, is doing a lot of work, as is Logan and Ollie from Auckland, the North Shore Club, up in the bows.
Yeah, and Switzerland just let it get away from them in those final 750 metres, and we saw those shots from the drone. They just were ping-ponging in the lane, which would have lost them time. Anything on the steering, you know, it's always going to be a bit of an anchor to the boat. So there it is, that final result from the men's fours.